I've been software now for officially 1 year. And there are a lot of things that I've learned. I made a lot of mistakes and I've learned from them. And things didn't always go my way, but still I've come this far and I'm really grateful. This is really a beautiful journey and I wish that for everyone. And this video I just want to share quickly the things that I've learned over this 1 year journey. So the first thing life lesson that I've learned is that everything is a skill that can be improved. You know, like in video games, we had skills that we could like level up and all those things. And it's the same with skills in real life. When first like started things from something more seriously, I saw discipline as a skill. At the time, I was a lazy kid. I was really unproductive. I was spending hours on my phone doing nothing productive with my day. And I still remember that like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I first discovered about when a lot of people were starting to talk about discipline. I watched some videos from David Goggins and everything. I thought discipline was something that you either have it or don't have it. You know, I thought you were kind of born with it, and that or all those people that were really disciplined had some special trick that they knew that made them that disciplined. I still remember I used to like watch motivational videos every day. But I used to research a lot about discipline, how to become more disciplined, and I want to find that this secret unga bunga trick, that will help me to like skyrocket my discipline in one day. I thought there was some secret trick that people weren't talking about that would help me to like improve my discipline in shortest amount of time possible. But that just doesn't exist. Discipline is like a muscle. It's like if you want your muscle to get stronger, you need to train it, and you need to start small before you're able to lift some big weights. And it's the same thing with discipline. When I started to see discipline as a skill, I knew I had to start small because I was at a really low level for discipline at the time. So before I started to take something seriously, I always try to do like to do as much thing as like some really hard things, get really far from my comfort zone, do some really hard workouts, and I will manage to do it for like one day, and I couldn't stay consistent. I would train like once, and then I would take like 2 weeks of rest, rest, you know, because my discipline skill was so low. Doing all those hard things that were here, those really hard things, made it impossible for me to stay consistent. So I had to start small at this level here because I was really level on this discipline skill was really low. I had to start with some low level activities. I couldn't do some things that were up here because my discipline was still down here. So what I did is I just started to do some really things that seemed easy to me. I meditated for like 3 minutes every day, sometimes even 1 minute. I didn't do some really long workouts. I did like some 20 minutes, 25-minute workouts. I read like 2 pages of a book every day. And still at the time, I'm gonna be totally honest, it was already hard even to read like 2 pages of a book because my discipline level was so low. But I progressively overloaded. I progressively got better at that skill, at a discipline skill. And now I've come pretty far. Now I'm able to have a really productive day After this video, I'm gonna have my breakfast, and I'm gonna have a 3 hour workout. I'm gonna start with some strength training, then I'm gonna do some Muay Thai, then I'm gonna do a little bit of wrestling. Then I'm gonna do a quick like 8 minute hill workout. 3 hours. In 1 year ago, I used to train for like 20 minutes. That's because I've improved the skill, this discipline skill. And it's not only with discipline, it's with so many things. Responsibilities. Responsibility something I've improved on a lot. And you can too. Social skills, you can improve them. And there's even skills in social skills. Many things can be improved. Oh, I think every single aspect of you and your life should be viewed as a skill that you can improve. You should have this mindset. Okay, I'm maybe bad at this certain thing, but I can improve it with time. This is a skill I can improve. I don't know, you might be bad at, how can I say, for example, you might be bad at, um, you might be really unorganized, like really messy and all those things. But you can improve it. It's not like it's something you can work on and improve over time. You might be really messy on it right now, but if you focus on it and work on it, in a few months, you're gonna be a really organized person, of course. And this is the same thing with every single aspect of your life. I seriously think that every single aspect of your life should be viewed as a skill that can improve. And that's the mindset I have with most of the things in my life. And I first started with discipline. When I discovered that discipline was a skill that could be improved, I started to see more and more things in my life that I could progressively get better at, like discipline. And you might have some limiting beliefs right now, thinking, oh, but I have some bad genetics on other certain things, so I can improve this. Like some people say, I've saw some people say, oh, but I have below average genetics, so muscle building genetics, so I shouldn't train. And that's just a stupid mindset. Even if firstly, how are you gonna know that you have below average genetics if you haven't put in as much work as other people, as some other people at the top, for example? How are you gonna know that you don't even have better genetics than them if you haven't at least put in as much work as them? And even if you truly have below average genetics, you can still maximize your potential in certain thing. So yeah. The second thing I've learned is that delayed gratification needs to be progressively overloaded. Over this 1 year of self improvement, I've hit a lot of plateaus. There were multiple moments where I stopped making progress for a long time, like for months, 3 months, 4 months. And that's because I stopped like making my own routine harder. I stayed in my comfort zone, I stayed comfortable. Like I still remember when I first became consistent with all my good habits, when I started doing them consistently. I just thought, yeah, I can just keep doing this and keep progressing, but it doesn't work like that. When something starts to get easy, like my routine used to be, when your routine is easy, like you can go through it easily without having any friction, then you'll probably make no progress or very little progress. Because when you're inside a comfort zone, when you never leave your comfort zone, you not really improve. Progress comes outside of your comfort zone. So find where your comfort zone is and make sure you're always a little bit outside of comfort zone. You don't need to go too far, but just a little bit. Your routine should be easy, but it also shouldn't be super hard. you know? And that's probably the reason why there were so many times where I just stopped making progress. It's because I got complacent. I stopped trying to make my routine harder. I stopped trying to make my workouts harder. I stopped trying to increase the time I meditated. I stopped trying to increase how long I spent reading, for example. And it happened to me so many times, many times in just 1 year. Because I stopped progressively overloading. I stopped trying to push myself a little bit more over time. And this is probably, if you just starting with self improvement, it's just probably happen to you. This is really something you need to learn from your own experience. Because even when I first started self improvement, I saw a lot of videos of people saying, don't stay complacent, don't get complacent, keep working harder, keep getting us out of your comfort zone. I saw many videos like that, but still it happened to me many times. Many times where I get complacent, stop making progress, stop trying to work harder, stop trying to push myself more. And that's why I sincerely think I would have made even more progress if I just followed that advice and did never got complacent. So just try with everything you do in your life. Just try to stay a little bit outside of your comfort zone. If like your routine is super easy to get through, if it's not, you don't have any difficulty. If there's never a time in your day where you're like, oh, I don't want to do this, then it's too easy. You need to make your routine harder. So the third thing is that getting rid of bad habits is by far the hardest part. I started to get consistent with the bad habits pretty fast. I started to like it didn't take that long. I started like using a habit tracker. I talked about it in other videos. And as soon as I started using the habit tracker, almost overnight, as I managed to get consistent with the good habits. But um, even in the first few months of improvement, after I was really consistent, even when I was already working out every day, meditating every day, gratitude journaling every day, taking cold showers every day, stretching every day, I was still spending multiple hours on video games and YouTube at the time. Mostly YouTube. That was the time where I started to get slowly rid of my video game addiction. I didn't spend. I would play video games from time to time, but I was still spending like 8 hours on YouTube and even Netflix. Even though I was at the time I was already consistent with my good habits. And I'm gonna be honest, it took a lot of time to get rid of my addictions. It took a lot of time. And this was by far the hardest part. And I'm gonna be honest, even now, I'm not 100% sure that I've totally gotten rid of my YouTube addiction. There are some days where sometimes I've talked about this before, but still at the end of the day, I kind of allow myself to just for like 1.5 hours to watch some YouTube, some like bullshit videos on YouTube. But I think even if I like stop doing that, I stop spending like 1.5 hours at the end of the day watching YouTube. I think the cravings I would get to watch YouTube will be so bad for real. Even though I've worked on getting rid of this addiction for over a year, I still think that I haven't totally gotten rid of this. And the main reason why I even got on some further is to get rid of these bad habits. Because they would really destroy me from inside. They would really make me unhappy. They would destroy my mental health, especially YouTube. just watching bullshit videos all day, laying in bed, sweaty, not even really enjoying it, just sitting there watching YouTube on your phone there, laying on your side like this, and not enjoying it at all. But you feel hooked, you feel just like you just can't stop. And this really, really, really took a lot of time to get rid of. And I don't think I've gotten totally rid of this addiction. I still have to work on this more, even more. Mm. The fourth thing is set goals, but not too many. For the first few months after I got sober, I didn't set goals because I thought that I didn't think that it would be that beneficial to set goals. I heard a lot of people talk about set goals, set goals, set goals, and obsess over them, but I didn't. And even like when I first read the book Atomic Habits, they say, "Oh, don't set goals, focus on process." And this may seem like good advice, and there are a lot of people that think, "Oh, their goals are overrated and focus on process." But you take action and focus on that process to achieve a certain goal. I like this analogy. I watched a video from Rambo not so long ago, and he said something like, when you get in the car, you start driving to get to a certain destination. That car and the road you take to our destination is the process, but the destination is the goal. Don't just focus on process. You just focus on process. We focus on process because we want to achieve a certain goal. What I'm trying to say is not you achieve a goal and then it's finished. When you achieve a goal, then then focus on new ones. But the mistake I first made when I first started setting goals is that I set too many goals. Like I said, like yearly goals, monthly goals, and that was just too much. And recently, I've just reduced my goals to just two goals that I want to achieve at the end of the year. I've stopped setting like monthly goals. I just said, okay, at the end of 2023, I have to achieve those two goals. And those are a little bit related. Yeah, they're pretty much related, those two goals. But you need to really narrow, I think you really need to narrow your focus on as little goals as possible. Because if before, when I was setting like yearly goals, monthly goals, and I was setting like a lot of goals, I was like, because I was setting so I set so many goals. I wasn't really focused on any of them. It was really just really messy in my head. There would never like chance the day where I was just thinking about my goals because there were just so many, and none of them really like gave me like this drive, this purpose because there were like I think 20 of 25 of them. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even remember all of them. But now that I've just reduced my goals to just one or two, the motivation I get when I just visualize them, when I just imagine myself achieving them, how I would feel is incredible. And even throughout the day, I just remember them, I just randomly think about my goals. Because now my focus is really narrowed on a small amount of goals. The less goals you set, the best it is. So set like 1 to 3 goals. And that's all that you're going to achieve in like 6 months. You set and then you set the deadline. You say like goals to achieve goals 2023 or goals that you're going to achieve in 6 months. Set a deadline and then set a few goals, 1 to 3. I wouldn't recommend more. And then just obsess over them. Over a day, have some time where you just visualize yourself achieving those goals. And yeah, that's really helped me a lot to just first reduce the amount of goals I set and really visualize myself achieving them. And the drive and purpose I feel every time, every day is incredible. And I'm not 100% sure if I'm gonna achieve them because I've set some big goals. Really, it's also important to not set like goals that seem too easy, way too easy. Set goals that are big, but also not too big. Like don't set super unrealistic goals, but kind of set goals that you're not 100% sure you're gonna achieve. But you also need to know that there's a chance that you can achieve them. But if you're 100% sure that you can achieve those goals, then they are too small. You need to be more ambitious. Like I've set some goals. I think the average person, if they saw my goals, I think they would think that they are extremely unrealistic. And I know it won't be easy to achieve them. I know it will take some hard work, but I know I can do it. That's the kind of I think that's really the kind of mindset you should have towards it. You're not sure that you can achieve them, but you know you can do it. You know you have this confidence that you can do it. But it's also gonna you know that's also gonna be challenging. That's not gonna be easy. That's really important. So set goals, but set like a small amount of goals. Set 1 to 3 and just focus on them. Really obsess over those goals. I think it's really also improvement. Really, that's one of the best advice I can give you. Set 1 to 2 goals that you want to achieve at the end of the year and obsess over them. I think the progress is gonna make from it is gonna be amazing. Because in the past, when I used to set like thousands of goals, like I would set like yearly, monthly goals, I didn't. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't make any progress towards any of them. I don't even think I achieved any of them because there were just so many of them. I didn't even like seriously. I didn't even remember every single one of them. But now that I just set 1 to 2 goals that I want to achieve at the end of the year, and I really start to obsess over them. Like sometimes randomly as I'm like doing some random things, I just remember my goals and I start thinking about it, and just give me some kind of like a little bit of fuel, you know. And this even gives you ideas. And the past that it just wasn't like this because I was focusing on many different goals. But yeah, set a few goals and obsess over them. The fifth thing is that knowledge is very important. I think knowledge is one of the biggest assets you can have. The things you know, the things you learn, the people you learn from. I think on like I've read a lot. I read like a lot, a lot, a lot. I read many different books. And in this self-improvement space, recently, like there are a lot of people saying, "Oh, if you like read or consume knowledge, but don't take action, then it's really not productive." I'm gonna be honest. From most of the books that I read, I take action, but some things I on some things I don't necessarily take action immediately. And a lot of people might say that this is unproductive, but I don't think so. I think it's already better to read or spend time consuming knowledge than it is to do some random useless things like I don't know, playing video games and all this bullshit. I think it's better to spend your time consuming knowledge. Because even when I read these books, I don't just get like frameworks or blueprints, but I also like it also like changes my beliefs towards a certain thing. It also influences how I think, my different mindsets. what I believe about certain thing. So reading more, I think most of my books most of the books that I've read are not gonna help me right now. That like they've helped me right even in the present moment. But I think the most progress I'm gonna get from these books, the most value I'm gonna get from these books is in the future. In most of my books, I don't just read them once. I read them multiple times, multiple times, multiple times. I think books. I think I see them kind of like quests, like quests in video games. And my goal is just to master 100% of them by the end of my life. I don't really rush it. I try to read them, and every time I read every single one of of the books I have, I master it a little bit more. I have a different, like a different point of view on certain thing. It helps me to just improve a certain aspect of my life even more. And recently, I've been started to watch some podcasts on YouTube. I spent some time just watching some inspirational podcasts, from people like some famous people like David Goggins. Recently, I've also started watching some podcasts from of like Alex Mosey, and really just consuming knowledge, consuming some things that could be valuable in the future. And some dumbass for that may think, oh, I already know enough. And those people are obviously, in my opinion, one of the dumbest out there. I think I will never know enough, and no one will. I'll just keep learning until they all die. I think there's not one human being on this earth that ever knew enough. I think it's really important to just keep expanding your knowledge every single day for the rest of your life. Because I think a lot of people outside of the like normal peoples, outside of the education system, they don't learn much. After school, they stop learning completely. And to be honest, I'm gonna say with total honesty, I've learned more from reading books and consuming knowledge from like books and podcasts over this last year than I've learned over like uh, for how long have I been in school? Over like 9 years in the education system, like 10 years in the education system. Like you can see that's a big difference. I haven't I know it seems some people may not agree with this, but I haven't learned much in the education system. I'm gonna be totally honest. I haven't learned that much. Like, obviously I've learned a lot of things. Like I teach you a lot of things, but I haven't learned a lot of useful things. I haven't learned some life-changing lessons. Like they taught me, yeah, some random things about math, or like I don't know. They taught me a lot of random things, like a lot of different things, but they never taught me some really life-changing lessons. But all of the books I read have. So yeah, keep learning, never stop. And the last thing I've noticed is that it's not really possible to be totally satisfied. When I first started this journey, when I first got on some improvement, in my mind I thought that when I build more muscle, when I start to become more productive, when I finally get rid of my video game and YouTube addiction, when I build like a better physique, when I achieve all those things, I will be satisfied. I will be okay. I will be fine with not making as much progress anymore. 1 year later, I've achieved all those things, but I'm so far from being satisfied. I'm still really, really hungry for more progress. and I have the feeling that I would just never be satisfied. And I think that's really the beauty of it. That's the beauty of self improvement. I think just wanting more and more. It's like a lot of people have I think the wrong mindset about self improvement. I think self improvement is not just something you add into your life. I think it's a lifestyle that you live for the rest of your life. I think that's the reason why I cannot be totally satisfied. Even after I will achieve my yearly goals, the goals I've set for this year, I'm sure I would be so far from being satisfied. Even though there are some big ones. And if I achieve them, my life would be a lot different from now. But I'm sure I'm not going to be satisfied even then. And you may think, oh, when I have a six pack, I will be satisfied. When I'm like, I don't know, a millionaire, I will be satisfied. Meaning that when you achieve that certain thing, that you finally be satisfied and okay with not making more progress. And there may be some average person out there that will be satisfied with only achieving those things. But I know that there are some ambitious men out there, probably you watching this video, that won't be satisfied even after achieving all those things. They'll keep craving more. And I think I like the way David Goggins puts it in his book. He says, my refrigerator is never going to be full. Meaning he's never going to achieve enough. He's always going to have, like, want more. That's the same thing for me. I think even at 80 years old, I'll still want to make more progress. And then really, when you get on this journey, it's really hard to be satisfied. And some people may see that something negative, but I think it's really beautiful. I'm the happiest when I make progress towards my goals. I think if I stopped having a goal to chase, I wouldn't be happy. My life would be boring. I think that's one of the reasons why I was so unhappy before I got self improvement when I was addicted to video games and YouTube and everything. Because I was ambitious, you know. I had like goals. I was like daydreaming about goals, but I wasn't making any progress towards them. But I'm truly happy when I make progress towards some meaningful goal, make progress on my purpose. Those are the moments when I'm truly happy, and I'm sure you and a lot of people can relate to this. So yeah, if you have a certain goal, just know that probably, even after you achieve it, you'll still want more. And don't see it as a bad thing. I think this is really the beauty of self improvement. I think obviously like things on like body dysmorphia is a bit different. Like I see body dysmorphia like has an advantage because it will keep you um from staying complacent. You will still want more and more. But body dysmorphia can also lead you to like be like unconfident and insecure. So I think there are ways out there to reduce like body dysmorphia, like stop comparing yourself to other people, of course. That's like obvious. Stop spending hours like looking at pictures of people that are more muscular than you on Instagram. Just stop comparing yourself in general. But even after that, I think for a lot of people, they won't be satisfied with the physique, for example. They won't be satisfied with the amount of money that they make. They will crave more. And I do. I've built myself a pretty good physique. Like 3 years ago, I would have imagined like 3 years ago I would have imagined that when I achieve this physique I have now, that I would be satisfied, that I wouldn't want more. But obviously, I want more. I want more muscle. I want to build even better physique. But yeah, I really think that is a beautiful thing. So yeah, that was it for the video. Don't worry from discomfort. Chase it.